Hey there, it's Damar. I recently made some wood signs to go over my fireplace, and before I put them up, I realized my fireplace mantle needs a total makeover. I've been getting a lot of my Christmas projects over on Cricut Design Space, and Cricut actually has tons of projects for like all kinds of different occasions. They even have this little holiday idea button, so if you click on it, it takes you over to their page that has tons and tons of holiday projects that you can do. So if you're feeling a bit lost and really have no clue what to make, this is a great place to start. But I'm just gonna head over and look up that star garland that I mentioned. When I hit to make it, it's gonna organize them all by color. And once I load the mat, I just let the machine do all the work. So this is one of the 5 points of the star. You can see all the score marks, and that's where we're gonna end up folding them. I already did one just to kind of make sure that I was doing it right, but it's actually really straightforward. So we're just gonna fold all along the score marks, and then you just hot glue the piece together to make the point of the star. And so each of these just makes a point, and when you get 5 points, you glue them all together and you got your star.
A few moments later.
So I do that for all the colors, and then once I complete them, I end up separating them by size, since this project actually makes 1 big star, 2 medium stars, and 2 small stars. While the project does have instructions, I'm a figure it out yourself kind of girl. So I just grabbed pieces, figured how they went together, and that was it. And that was the easy part. The hard part was gluing all the points together. Every time I tried to glue it together, I kept getting gaps in between each of them. And so the only thing I could do was pinch them together with my 2 fingers, but you'll see later that that becomes a little more difficult. Overall though, the process of these stars was pretty repetitive. You basically fold them and you glue them and you just repeat until you have all your stars. So remember earlier when I said that it was going to get a little tricky? So here's the last point of the star, and my finger can't exactly get in there to like pinch the 2 folds together, and we're having trouble getting them to stick because there's no pressure and it's just creating an air gap. So first one's done, not too bad even though there is a few gaps. I repeat the process a few times and I definitely see a bit of improvement every single time that I do it. The next part was gluing these little triangle pieces on them, which I felt like made them look a little bit fancier and gave them a little bit more depth. Now we're gonna string them. I got my twine, I got this bookbinding tool to poke a hole through the top of the stars. I also have this other tool that's kind of like a needle. That is where you can thread the twine through, which just makes it a lot easier to string them. Overall, a bit tedious, but I think they came out great. On the next project, we'll need aluminum foil, plastic wrap, foam cone, and twine of choice. First, I want to make the top pointy because this cone literally has like no point to it at all. And I'm also going to try to make it a bit longer on the bottom. So I stuffed it with aluminum foil, then wrapped the whole thing in plastic wrap for easy removal later. I forgot to tell you that you'll also need some Mod Podge. I'm going to start with making a loop at the end of the twine, and that's just so you can put it on the tip of the tree so it holds in place. Then you're going to grab your Mod Podge and put some on the top of the tree so that the twine stay in place. Then I just placed Mod Podge alongside of the cone and basically wrap the twine around it.
20 minutes later.
Once I wrapped it, I added a layer of Mod Podge over the whole thing since I don't want the tree to be flimsy.
1 hour later.
Okay, so now it's dried and we're gonna try to take it out. It didn't look like it was gonna come off because of like how tight it is at the bottom. So it got squished in the process. And after a few attempts of trying to remove it, I decided to just go in with the scissors and trim it where the styrofoam comb starts. After that, it was pretty easy to take off. Now, this is not hard, but it can take a while depending on how thick or thin your twine is and how much you want to wrap around it. Basically, how full do you want your tree to look? I ended up doing another tree, you know, after the first one was such a huge success. But this time I wanted to try a thicker twine, hopefully for better coverage and better stability. Let me tell you though, I would not choose to do any of these projects over again. My wrists will definitely thank me for that later. Once it's dry, it was pretty easy to take out, unlike the first one. I just gave it a little squeeze and was able to pull it right off. And I did make another one off camera.
So this is what I have so far. And so these, if they're just down there, they're really short, which I don't mind putting like one or something, but you know, get some height variety. But I found this box that I have that lifts it up. So I think I'm gonna like paint them white and put some like faux snow on there. And it could be like a little lifted area where I put maybe like a little Christmas village or like a sleigh or something like that. I don't know. I think the idea will be cool. Let's do the boxes and then we'll see what we can do with them. So it's actually an Oculus box and I actually have two, but I only need one right now. And my white paint is pretty low. So I'm also gonna use gesso just because it's basically a white base and I'm gonna be sticking glue on or sticking snow onto it anyways, so it's not really a big deal. We're just gonna go in.
I use this dollar store spray on glue that I found. I was kind of iffy about it, so I did make sure to spray quite a bit, and it did end up working pretty well. This mix I have of this faux snow I actually made for an ornament last year, but the ornament ended up breaking on me and I ended up keeping the snow because it was just so pretty. So for this, I did make sure to put quite a bit of snow on there and I let it sit for, I don't know, maybe like 10 seconds just to make sure that it would stick. Then I just give it a little bit of a shake. So I'm gonna head back into Cricut Design Space and see if I can find a Christmas village. I found this one that looks super simple and I think it'll be just perfect for me. It uses two different types of paper, vellum and cardstock. The piece with no window cutouts are the pieces that are going to be the vellum pieces, and then the ones that actually have the window cutouts in it, those are going to be the cardstock pieces. And bam! I got Cutout Village. I match up the pieces so I can then glue the backings onto them. Once the backings were done, I added the snow trim onto the building and arranged them in the order that they're going to be taped together in. I then just taped each building together with the next until the whole village was put together. here's the village on the snow boxes, and I felt like it was kind of missing something. Like it was just too empty for a Christmas village. So I looked up some people silhouettes and placed them in there, and now it's complete. Enjoy the holidays and make sure to like and subscribe to see future videos. Merry Christmas, everyone!